Ghost in the Night with Phil Sams.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Ghost in the Night, a Hauntings and Paranormal podcast. Today I have a question for you. Is Satan real? With everything that has been going on in my life thus far and all the self-reflecting I've had to do and dealing with emotions that I've had to cope with, I guess, some questions have really been brought up in my mind, and some things that I held fast and believed to be very plausible have not happened. And it's caused me to question everything. Have I been wrong about a lot of stuff throughout this paranormal journey in life, really? So, what really brought this on, what really caused me to kind of come up with this idea is I've been low. I've been not in a great mindset. And if you've listened to me at all over the past 2 years, you know I harp and preach heavily on mindset, how it affects the paranormal. It opens you up. You have to be in a good, positive mindset to deal with the paranormal, to experience the paranormal, to cope with the paranormal, and to protect yourself, most importantly, when it comes to the spirit world or demons or anything like that. And I haven't been in that place for the past 11, 12 days, past 13 days, actually. Well, not 13 days. I'll get to that story in a minute. But, for 11 days at least, I was at rock bottom. My mindset was crap. I was lost. I had negativity oozing out every pore in my body. And I thought there was no hope. My life was crumbling, and there was nothing I could do. Everything I tried to grab onto just was falling with me. And we've all heard that, and I've said it myself, when you are at your lowest point, that is when the darker energies, the demons, if you will, the more negative stuff, that is when it is drawn to you. That is when you are opened up to that, to have those experiences and possibly even be taken over or possessed or whatever word you want to use. And none of that happened. I mean, I was at the point where I probably would have willingly sold my soul to get back what I lost. All Satan had to do was come and present me that contract, and I probably would have signed it with a quickness. That was my mindset. That was my thinking. And that was probably what, somewhere deep in my psyche, I was begging for, asking for. And you know what? His ass never showed up. No demons came to take over my body in my weakened state. No, nothing. If this stuff is real, if the paranormal is real, why, if my philosophy or the theory that I share with other people, if that concept is real, why didn't anything come to me? Why didn't anything become attracted to me? Why didn't anything try to interact with me? That's really got me wondering, what is the paranormal? Is, like I said, Satan real? What ramifications does that have on the entire spirit world or the afterlife? Does God even exist? And the funny thing is, like I said, past 13 days have been rough, but I said I was in a low spot for 11 of those days. Somebody that has experienced my situation, the loss of a relationship, the loss of everything, everything you worked so hard on for 4 years and essentially gave up everything for. Somebody in that situation when this does happen, and it is a fact of life, it's going to happen, and it happens repeatedly. I'm not the first one, and I'm never going to be the last one. Hell, I'll probably experience this again at some point, even though my years are drawing closer to the end rather than the beginning. But whenever you experience something like this, whenever you go through something like this, you start questioning things. And I've reached a point, most people in this situation would curse God, would lose their faith in God. And if I'm being honest, I've had a not a rocky relationship, but just a kind of relationship with God over 47, soon to be 48 years. And, you know, it wouldn't surprise me at all if I would just push away and say, how could you do this to me? Especially when I'm thinking, I'm having these thoughts about, how bad things are. But the exact opposite happened. So I asked the question, is Satan real? Because nothing came to me. Good old Satan never came to me and said, I can give it all back to you. You just sign your soul, dotted line. And like I said, I wouldn't even hesitated at one point. And even at that low point that I was at, I didn't think about God. I didn't curse him. I never went that route. I mean, maybe that's something in itself that it never even popped into my mind, or if it did, I didn't recognize it. But with that being said, I reached a point where I got a sense of clarity, a complete reconciliation of my soul, essentially. And I started viewing things and handling things in a way that I never have in 48 years with everything that I've been through throughout my entire journey. So I had an exact opposite reaction to what I would think is the norm. I embraced the concept of a greater power because that is the only explanation in my head that makes sense of me having this rapid transformation in the emotions that I were feeling, not necessarily going away, but having a new outlook, having a new look, having a brighter mindset of it, of kind of a healing of the soul kind of thing. So I'm conflicted in two parts. My scenario that has played out over the past 2 weeks has took me to one extreme to the other, and I hold on to both of them. I have changed as a person. I have healed in a lot of ways, a lot of scars that have been building up over the last 30 some odd years. But on the flip side, my negativity was so deep that it caused me to believe, okay, maybe there's nothing to this demon thing. Maybe Satan does not exist. Maybe heaven and hell and the concept that we are taught, that we are told that it exists, does not exist. Maybe the paranormal isn't what we think it is. Now, there's no doubt in my mind that people are experiencing things. I've experienced things all my life, and there has to be a reason for that. Now, so I think the paranormal, there is something going on, but maybe just what you and I and the so-called paranormal experts think it is, that's not it. There's something else. Maybe there's something scientifically rational about it that is explaining it, explains the whole thing. But maybe the context that we have always viewed the paranormal in is not it, and Satan is one of those things. I might say something here that might be a little controversial, but I'm just kind of trying to wrap my head around what I've experienced, what I'm feeling, what I've been thinking, and that is we've always been taught God and Satan are two different entities opposing each other and going after one another by trying to win our affection or taking our souls or whatever verbiage I don't know. Maybe that's not it at all. And this is why just go with me on this a little bit. Maybe God and Satan are one and the same. and is the ultimate good and the ultimate evil all in one energy. I don't know. I mean, that would kind of, maybe they just aren't opposing each other. They are just two entities doing it that really don't work at all together, or they are one energy that are just affecting our lives. Then again, maybe this is a simulation. Who freaking knows? But in my scenario, the paranormal, we have to be open to this not being what we think it is. I mean, like I said, I do believe that there is something going on. I do believe that things are happening for a reason. I do believe that it's just not one mass hysteria kind of thing when you get a group of people or get multiple people experiencing something. There has to be more to the answer. But I just don't think it is what we've been taught, or what I'm leaning to now is it's not what we've been taught through religion, through paranormal reality shows, through history. We can't even wrap our heads around what is actually going on. And some of the answers that we think we have, or the best educated guesses that we have, aren't even remotely close. Because, like I said, I was at my darkest point in life, probably. And I've been in some dark, bad, horrible mental state situations in my 48 years. This was by far the worst. And nothing. No, we've all heard, we've all had those internal conversations where something would pop in and it was, you recognize your own voice in your own head, your own inner dialogue. And we've all had those times where we've been, in high emotion, low emotion, all that. We've had those and been having those internal dialogues, and not, and all of a sudden, something pops in, or a phrase or a thought pops in that's not in your own voice, which you recognize as your own voice. That that didn't even happen to me. I would think, and I always felt that that change in voice, that thought that comes in that you would never think because you know yourself better than anybody else, and it's a different voice, it's a different way of thinking. I always thought that was some external force coming in, whether it be good or evil, depending on the thought or whatever it was trying to get you to do. I always thought that was some kind of entity from the other realm or the other world or the spirit world trying to guide us or trying to hurt us. I didn't even get that, for the love of God. So, what does that all mean? Is it all bullshit? I can't, I don't really know what to think and what to make of it. Maybe I'm just going about this the wrong way. I don't understand it. I can't, I mean, for so much clarity that I have right now in my personal life, in the direction in which I need to go or have to go, really, and the calmness I have about it, I'm totally confused on how that correlates to my thoughts on the paranormal. And is it real? I, I still believe it's real. I just don't understand. I have less clarity on what it is now. I think I have 1,000 more questions after 2 years of, really diving hard, diving deep, and trying to find some answers, some solutions to this paranormal question. And I'm thankful that for this situation in that respect, that it's really caused me to make an about face and really maybe look at things some different ways, and how I can be so question or how I can be questioning the validity of the whole Satan concept, and then on the same side of that coin have an other utterly wonderful faith and renewed faith that there is a higher power. There is something that is driving us, that is looking out for us, and a strange way that we can never understand, because you know the whole concept is, if God is good, then why would He do bad things to good people? I mean, I'm not great. I mean, but what has transpired over the past 13 days, I wouldn't wish. I shouldn't say I wouldn't wish, but the first 11 days, there should have been a lot of cursing of him, and I wouldn't have wished that pain, that suffering, that emotional distress on freaking anybody for all the money in the world. It was horrible. It was, it almost made me believe that at one point I remember having this thought that what we think of life in terms of heaven and hell, this, what we are in right now, this lifetime, or whenever living your life on this plane of existence, this is hell. We are all, if you're hearing my voice, we are in hell right now, which with 2020 is not completely out of the realm of possibility. You know, with all the BS we've had to put up with, the virus, and just the utter change in life globally, just not in one country, but globally, and especially here in the U.S. I mean, 2012 has sucked some major balls, and the hits just keep on coming for me. And just like I'm not the only person that has went through this in the past 2 weeks, I know there's somebody out there that has had to deal with the pandemic and had the same situation that I find myself in play out for them. And it's no fun. I'm not the only one. I'm not special in that regard. But I do, I just find it so strange that how, how, how so much pain can cause so much clarity and really transform somebody, as it has transformed me. Because I am thinking things and doing things now that I would never do, or I haven't thought in years, or my entire adult life, from early adulthood to present day. I've completely done 180 in my whole way of thinking, my whole way of treating people, and how I think about people and what I want to do has completely freaking flipped. I'm 1,000 times better person now than what I was 14 days ago. I handle, I have a, I don't even know, I can't even put the word to it, but I have a thought process and understanding of what life is now that I don't have now, or I didn't have back then. And it was how I can get that out of so much pain, so much grief, proves to me that there is a God. There is some kind of power out there that is created us, a great creator, if you will. But on the flip side, maybe Satan isn't what we think it is. I've always said that there has to be good and there has to be bad. You have to have love, and you also have to have hate. And the magic happens in between those two. And that is what I'm taking away from all of this, is that is where the magic happens, between the two extremes. Because I've always been the type of person that, yeah, either extremely loved you or extremely hated you, and there was no middle. That was what the trauma and things that I went through in my life had taught me as a protection mechanism. There's one or the other. There was nothing in the middle. And the beauty in everybody lies in the middle. And that is why I had, you know, lived my life in the way I have over the past, especially the last 30 some odd years. You know, I forgot there was a middle. There's not two extremes. It's a whole spectrum. And the magic happens in the middle. And everybody has good and everybody has bad. Everybody has grace. Everybody has evil within them at all. And that is why I said maybe God is both. If we were built in His image, maybe He has extreme grace and He has the extreme evil in Him as well. Because if we have it, I would think He has it. He can't all be good. And I'm not saying this in a way to degrade God. I'm just saying we have to take a look at what we are doing and how we've looked at the afterlife and the spirit world a different way. And I could be wrong on this, but this is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm thinking at the present time. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. Send me an email at gitnpodcast@gmail.com. I do want to thank everybody, the support. I know I've been at a low place in the last episode. The last episode, the Thanksgiving Day special. I wasn't at my best. I was still. I'll be honest. I was in that dark side of this journey. I hadn't reached this enlightenment. My soul hadn't really come to grips with what had happened and made that transformation. Now, I said you sit before you. Yeah, that sounds somewhat coherent. I had made the change. I haven't flipped that script and gained the enlightenment that I have right now. So I got a lot of you did reach out. A lot of you, from Facebook, the Facebook group, or the Facebook page that the podcast has, reached out, expressed their concern for me. People that listen to the podcast had sent me emails. The love that I felt from that, and even on Twitter, which is, there's not much love on Twitter, but that is what it is because Twitter's a complete shit show most often. But I appreciate each and every one of you that did reach out. I know I didn't respond to everybody. And I apologize for the darkness, maybe, of some of the posts and some of the in the episode, maybe. But I apologize if you took it the wrong way or it caused you to feel sorry for me, because that is not, I was just trying to get out emotion and deal with everything that I have been going through. But I wouldn't change it because it's gotten me to this clarity right here. It's gotten me to this good place. And this is a place I haven't been since probably I was 10 or 11 years old. This clarity, this sense of purpose, this sense of wonder of what is around me, the looking at the universe, whatever the universe is. I haven't been there in 33, 34, however old I am, 36 years. Soon to be 37 years. Thank you for reaching out for me. And it's going to get better from here on out now. This episode is going to be a little bit shorter. I'm moving, so the new studio is gone. This will probably be the last recording, maybe from the new studio. If I do, there'll probably be no video. I have to start breaking down some of the equipment and getting ready for my move into my new temporary home. And I don't know how that's going to play. So with breaking everything down, I'm going to still try to record a few episodes just via my phone, maybe just through the laptop and a little lapel mic. But this will be the last one from the studio with video for the rest of this year. Maybe I'll do a quick live stream with my phone or something like that and put that out as an episode. I don't quite know how that's going to work, but I really would like your opinions. Let me get back to the content of the episode real quick. What do you think about what I said? Does it ring true to you? Does it strike a nerve with you? Obviously, some of these stories aren't completely true. Maybe there's morsels of truth in all of the spiritual stories, whether it be God and Satan and the paranormal. I want to hear your point. If you've sold your soul to the devil, I want to hear about it. Send me an email or reach out on Twitter. Like I said, email is gitnpodcast@gmail.com. Twitter handle @night_ghost. I want to know why you got chosen to sell your soul to the devil and nothing came to me. Or he didn't come to me and give me even that option. I'm thankful he didn't, don't get me wrong, but because in my mindset, like I said, I would have with a quickness. But why did you get, what is your story? But the funny thing is, I just think it's a story. I don't think anybody's ever sold their soul to the devil. The crossroads doesn't exist. I don't think it's ever happened. I think it's a wise tale. I think it's just a something that is told to us to keep us on the straight and narrow by teachers of religion. That is my personal thought right now. Oh, on a side note, I forgot. I should have mentioned this. And if you listen to this podcast, this new home that I'm currently getting ready to exit. There was some question whether or not there was some activity in the basement, which is where the studio is. And I can honestly say no, they're not in here. Because in my current state of mind, if there was paranormal activity here, if there was something dwelling in this basement, I would have noticed it because I spent a lot of freaking time down here over the past 13 days. I've basically been living down here, been sleeping down here. Nothing out of the ordinary. So, good news is this obviously is the first home, one of the few homes I've lived in that had no activity. So, the people that are remaining here, they have nothing to worry about. The only negativity in this house up to a few days ago was me at this point. My mindset was the only negative thing in here with the pain that I was going through. So that is a good thing. But like I said, I want to hear your thoughts. Send me the email. Like us on Facebook at Ghost of the Night. Be sure to follow and subscribe to us however you take in a podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podbean, or podcast, or whatever, however you take in, whatever platform you use, be sure to actually subscribe, follow whatever they allow you to do. Leave a comment. We greatly appreciate it. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also, as of December 15th, the website, ghostofthenight.com, will be gone. I've had to streamline the process if I want to keep doing the podcast, so I had to make some cuts and reduce some of the expenditures. So the podcast show note page or the website will be done. I will be using the only thing I will be using as a website now will be my podcast host does have a website feed, just a small little undetailed where you can get all the podcast episodes in the description and all that happy stuff. That is going to act as the podcast website for a while. We're still going to have the Patreon account, so if you want to support the podcast via Patreon, that's patreon.com/GITM podcast. All social media that I have will still be up and running, and I will be more active once I get, packed up and get to move. So by the end of this month, I'll be back up and running full strength. I will continue to try to post on all the social media sites as I go along. It's just I'm overwhelmed with work, overwhelmed with packing my shit up and getting ready for my move. But just bear with me. 2021 will be by end of the year. I will be up and running fully. Hopefully, I need to get back to some normalcy. So I've been in contact with Frankie from the Cincinnati Ghost Chasers, and we might have a little private investigation of a home coming up in the next couple, before Christmas, that I really want to go to because that's what I need. I need, even in my state, which is positive now, I want to go. I think I need to get back to some normalcy, and that is what I hope to do. So I'm looking forward to that, and maybe there'll be an On the Hunt episode from that encounter, that investigation. Just follow us on all the social medias. Subscribe to the Facebook or to the YouTube page. That would greatly help me, and I would greatly appreciate it. I thank you all for listening. Once again, I thank you all for reaching out to me. That I was blown away by some of the messages that I did get. Thank you so very much. It meant the world to me. It kind of put in perspective because I was really starting to doubt whether I even wanted to continue the podcast. because I felt I was just talking into the air and nobody was listening, even though I saw numbers. That was my mindset. That's what I thought. I really thought I was just talking to myself into a microphone and a camera. But your responses, you reaching out to me, really also helped in my transformation and my seeing the light of what is really important in life and what I have become now and going to continue to be the mindset that I have now. I appreciate and I cannot repay you. I cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much. That is going to wrap up this episode. I know it's a little short, but there's going to be some changes to the podcast. So don't forget, follow, like, subscribe, all that happy shit. Leave a comment. I do have some ideas for some upcoming podcast, and I will try to record something for next week. It might be short and sweet. I have some ideas, but the audio will be a little off. Just for a matter of fact, I have to start breaking down what equipment I do have and do use for the podcast. So there'll probably be no video. It'll just be audio for this one, and I'm not even quite sure what piece of audio equipment I will use to record it. Might just be the phone, so it might be not the best quality, but I just want to keep doing it and keep getting stuff out to you guys since you responded to me in such a kind way and showed so much support over the past week. I need to keep doing this for to keep me on the journey that I am on now, and this enlightenment that I have, and this change in the soul that I have really felt over the past 3 days, 2-3 days. Thank you, and I will. 2021 will be a big year for the podcast. I have the time to do it. I'm hopefully going to rethink some of these concepts that I have, and I think we need to really question what the paranormal is and be open to the fact that maybe it's not what we think it is. Maybe there's more going on than meets the eye. And what, these paranormal reality shows tell us isn't necessarily true. What these demonologists tell us definitely might not be true. What some of these spiritual leaders tell us, they're just interpreting words on a page and forming opinions and reading into things. All of these people. We need to go experience this stuff for ourselves and figure it out on our own and develop our own ideas, our own answers, and be open to all interpretations, all inputs, because nobody is right. Nobody who has ever spoke about the paranormal is 100% completely right. I'm not any expert on any television show. We're all just taking stabs in the dark, but we all need to come together and kind of form some kind of consensus and ask some hard questions and be open to being wrong. Like I might be wrong. I think that will go a long way in helping put the puzzle pieces back together when it comes to knowing the spiritual world and what is afterlife, if there is anything. And I've always said, I don't know. But we have to be prepared and we have to work hard at it. And we have to come together. We can't bicker between ideologies of different theories and everything. And just because one person A doesn't agree with person B, person A is an idiot. They don't know. A or B doesn't know for sure. We need to come together as a community in the paranormal. Okay, I'm getting off the pulpit now. Thank you for listening. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Thank you. We'll see you next week. Well, we won't see you. You will hear me next week, but thank you. Be on the lookout for a big year coming up next year. Thank you, and as always, take care, everybody.